Well, another in our series, we're talking about this new charity that's started up in the Isle of Man, Quing, and with me is Dr. Tim, retired Dr. Tim, but still very much in the medical centre of things. And this is something I know that touches your heart on this one.
Oh, definitely, yes. We tried, and I tried to retire, and came over to the island, which I love. And I thought the island was a very special place. It has a very strong, peaceful, healing quality, which is very different from England. And when we were here, I was thinking to myself, it is an ideal place for those people with mental illness. Fortuitously, I met Graham, and Graham started to share with me an innovative model that he had developed himself as a Manx resident for managing mental health. Mental health in general is a Cinderella specialty. It's a specialty that in the United Kingdom politicians are really not interested in. Absolutely not. I mean, they've been trying to disinvest in the UK. Yeah, sure, coronary heart disease, asthma, diabetes, these are much more attractive areas for politicians. So I was really impressed when Graham introduced me to Ralph Peake, who was on board and wanted to make a difference for those patients with mental health issues on the island. And from our discussions, it became apparent that not only could we begin to provide services maybe here for those on the island, but also we could think wider, we could think more globally. And already Graham and Ralph had made a lot of contacts internationally to support this process. So, for example, we could provide a service easily into the United Kingdom, where frankly the services are beginning to fail. As we all know, we all watch TV. We've seen the issues in the last sort of 2 or 3 months. And also there is a sort of an additional angle in that the Isle of Man has an interest, and it's there. It's got an interest in gambling and providing services for the gambling industry. And so there is an angle in terms of providing responsible services for the gambling industry.
Right.
And so that's another angle that we can bring in that isn't the NHS and is global.
The problem, I asked other interviews I've been doing, I mean, is it bigger here or different here in the Isle of Man to the UK?
No, I think mental health is all over the world. I think the island has its own issues, but I would have thought no more than any sort of the urbanised areas.
So this is your specialist area, right? In Rochdale, wasn't it you were doing this?
No. My specialist area really is audit.
Oh.
And clinical governance. So as GPs, we often have a number of different hats.
Yeah.
So one of my hats was seeing patients, just any patient that would come through the door as a GP. But one of my other hats was clinical governance lead for the local PCT, the local group. Mm-hmm. And this is another area where both Graham and Ralph are very interested in bringing audit and governance into their policies and procedures. And there are opportunities, because of Graham's unique way of thinking, there are opportunities to bring in sort of audit systems which would be unique for the Isle of Man and also may be unique for the gambling industry. The gambling industry is looking to try to regulate. Regulation increases the share price for the shareholders. So a regulated gambling company has about a 30% higher share price than an unregulated gambling company. So if we can connect in and with these companies and show that we're going to support them and help them with their regulatory processes, I would have thought there's a huge opportunity here.
Okay, and you'll be quite heavily involved yourself?
Certainly, my interest is in audit.
Right.
And when I use the word audit, it's maybe a difficult word to understand because it isn't really sort of financial audit. It's audit in terms of effectiveness, in terms of outcomes, in terms of trying to generate the best outcomes for those who enter Graham's pathway or the Quing pathway.
Right. Well, nice talking to you today. It's been interesting, and people want to get in touch. We put the information on the screen there, and this building will start to take life in a matter of months, I understand, and we'll come back and see how it's all going.
Lovely.